Doing for the very first question. Your line is now live.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jackson. I have two questions for you. And the first one is about the layoff from your last fight with Kichi Kunamoto. Congratulations on that win, by the way. But did you expect to be out of action for over 6 months, or did the pandemic play a part in that?
The pandemic did play a major part in it. And thank you, by the way. But the pandemic definitely kind of delayed it. And I was a little upset myself that, that I was getting ready, because as soon as I was finished with the fight in Hawaii, I was right back in the gym getting ready for the next one. It doesn't matter who it was. I was just getting ready for something, because I just feel like my time is coming. I need to keep working, because the last performer just wasn't it.
Right. And we saw more of the performance that you'd probably like with Ed Ruth, even though you didn't end up getting the decision in that case. Can we expect that in this fight as well? Some sort of rock'em sock'em affair with Jordan Main?
No, I don't expect that at all. I learned so much from the Ed Ruth fight. That's something that I needed myself, even though I felt like I won the fight, yes, but that's a learning lesson that I needed to continue on for what's coming later on to me.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next question will go to Matthew Putterman. Your line is now live.
Hey, Jason, this is Matthew from MyMMAnews.com. My first question is to you: what motivates you more, coming off of a loss or coming off of a win from a fighter's perspective?
It's a good question. I'm already motivated already, so I wouldn't say the win or the losses. I think the fight matchup more motivate me than anything else, and my family and God.
Of course, you just talked about God, of course. What has God done for you in your life?
Showed me the right way, and keep me grounded from doing, the wrong, and just understand what life is about, and, maturity of life and responsibility. And once I live his way, there's not a wrong way.
Definitely. And what do you think your biggest attribute of player of yourself? What do you think your biggest attribute is? Excuse me.
It's my charisma, my athleticism, and my heart, and my determination, and my confidence.
And my last question is for you: where do you see yourself here in the next 5 years in the Bellator mixed martial arts promotion?
Champion. That's too long. But champion within the next year or two, believe it or not.
That's all I got for you, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next question will go to Andrew Benjamin. Your line is now live.
Hey, Jason. Thank you very much for taking the questions. My question for you is, what are your thoughts on your opponent, Jordan Main? He's been around seemingly forever, fighting pro since 2006. What are your thoughts after, if you have watched tape of him, or give us your impression of him as a fighter?
He's been doing martial art all his life. And from what I backtrack, that he never grew that heart that I was born with. I was born with that will, that iron will to fight. He never could develop that. That's one thing I felt like he's missing. And that's one thing that won't prevail for me over this fight, the iron will.
How do you see this fight going in your favor? Do you see it going all 3 rounds? Do you expect a quick finish? How do you tell us your thoughts on that?
That's a good question. I always, when I go in my fights, I never go in there anticipating that I'm going to finish a guy, no matter how good or how bad the guy is. I just anticipate that this guy's not going to beat me. Because sometimes even when I knock them down or finish them, I'm surprised myself too. Mm-hmm. So I know I'm going to get the win. That's one thing that's inside of my heart, the W.
Great. Thank you very much, Jason. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Our next question goes to Mike Heck. Your line is now live.
Hey, Jason, how's it going? A couple questions for me. First off, looking at your record and stuff, you've been in this game for a while. Like, you've experienced a lot of different things in this sport, from the Ultimate Fighter, Contender Series, fought for many different promotions and very big spots. Still, you're only 29 years old. You're still kind of a baby in this sport when it comes to actual like fight years. Do you feel like you're just hitting your prime right now?
That's a good question. I think so. I really do. And I'm glad that you actually took the time to actually look into that, because I feel like a lot of people forget that I had a lot of setback and still moving forward on. So yes, I would agree that I am in my prime and this is my time.
What do you think's been like the biggest lesson you've learned along the way through these different experiences that you had? Because it feels like you've been on the doorstep so many times and just have come up short for so many unfortunate different kinds of reasons. What do you think's been like your biggest learning lesson thus far in your career?
The two injuries that I had, but the second one was the biggest sign of my life, because I was like, no way I'm gonna sit here for another year and just do nothing. And that's when I decided to start my own company, and that's doing well. It's doing good. And that was like one lesson. I was like, not because you can't do something that means you can't do something else. And I learned from that, as in like, just climbing a tree with a broken leg, that I can do whatever is possible. It's just the mind. So my broken ankle in the Contender Series was like one of the biggest lessons.
And then last thing for me, your gym has had a lot of success these days over at Sanford MMA. A lot of good things have been going on. Henry Hooft is just putting together this squad of killers right now, and there's been a lot of successful guys and gals in your gym. What has that done for you as far as motivating you, seeing the success from the rest of the guys on your team at this point?
It definitely motivates me to see my fellow teammates go out there and do everything that they train. It just shows that the quality level of training now I'm receiving is top of the notch, and it's just a confident builder, man. It is.
Thank you, Jason. All the best to you on Friday.
All right, thank you so much.
Our next question will go to the line of Damon Martin. Your line is now live.
Hey, Jason. I know, as you mentioned, training at Sanford MMA, I know there's been a little bit of a scare, a couple of fighters and some of the coaches dealing with COVID-19. How is that for you? Because I know Jared Gordon, basically lost all of his coaches, going over to Abu Dhabi. And I know Steve Mowry, who was on this card, just tested positive. Was there any worry about that for you dealing with your training?
I don't know. I did the test about 6 times, and like I said, I've been on my roots: ginger, garlic, honey, onions, you name it. For spirulina, turmeric, I've been keeping up my immune system. So, anything could happen in 6 season. Regardless if COVID would have came around or not, people still would have got sick. Just with a high level of training and everything, it's normal in some gyms. It's just now, if it's a cough or a headache or what, people forget that they can destroy their immune system just training every day. You need something to keep it up. So if you're not taking care of immune system with everything that's going around right now, disease and everything, not wearing a mask and stuff like that, you're bound to get sick. Because I know a lot of people there that just get tested like myself over and over and nothing, negative. So what that say? What does that say? Henry tests about 50 times? Still.
How is it with the training? I talked to Michael Chandler, and he said, typically it's still the same. You work with a smaller group of guys, but you keep kind of together, working together, make sure everyone's getting the work in. How is that for you with this training camp? Because it is obviously a little different than what you would normally deal with in a regular training camp.
Yes, that's exactly how it's structured. You just grab a few guys that are going to give you a good output of work, and you seclude off yourself and make a personal time and get together and get it done.
And last question, Jason, as it's been mentioned, you've kind of fought a who's who throughout your career, but it seems like you've always been that one step away. When you look at the welterweight division in Bellator now coming into this co-main event, how big is this moment for you in a co-main event like this to shine and then make that run? It feels like you've always been that guy who's been one step away from making that run.
True. Let's see how that goes, because like I said, been down the stairs and fall off every single time. We just need to take the one step. So we're here and we're going to keep moving forward no matter what.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
All right. And our last question comes from Gareth A. Davies. Your line is now live.
Can we just take a moment? I'm looking out on the sea from the UK where it's a beautiful sunny day. Can we just take a moment to appreciate the coolness that is Jason Jackson for one? This is the coolest guy on the planet right now. Look at you.
Stop it, man. You make me blush on camera.
Guy out. And you know what? You forgot one of the weeds, ashwagandha. Did you take ashwagandha as well?
Yeah.
I just want to say, Jason, what does it mean to you to be on this first event back after 5 months? Because it's an amazing showcase. It's live here in the UK, and we are seeing the rise of the African-American fighter right now. We'll see the Africans really come into MMA in this decade. It will be the decade of the Africans, as far as I'm concerned, It's the Black Lives Matter Africans coming, But are you with me on that this is your time?
Absolutely. Rasta time. Time. You know it. And like I said, this just proves that only the fittest of the fittest shall survive during these times.
Take the title from Babylon, brother. Take the title from Babylon.
Yes.
And does it mean a lot to be on that first event back? Does it mean a lot to be on? Yeah. Great to see you, brother. Best of luck on Friday night.
Thank you so much, man. Good energy, man. You definitely make it worth my time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. More time. Soon come.
All right, Russ.
Great. Thank you very much, Jason. I appreciate that. Next up, we'll have Ricky Benday.